Project Car Central over on your YouTube channel, Speed Academy.
Man.
I know you guys were big in Modified Magazine, which Zach and I both used to read back in the day.
Yeah.
And now you've transitioned to Modified Magazine on TV, on Speed Academy's YouTube channel, basically. What is it, what is, at a pure curiosity level, how is the Project Cars on TV business?
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
For us, we're trying to build these cars to a certain threshold, like the Project Car, the magazine level, where you can actually go test them on a racetrack. And it's a higher standard than I consider most, I don't want to say YouTube channels, but
just say it, Peter.
Yeah, okay.
Just
most YouTube channels are building, and it makes it much more difficult. Like, I can't just throw on some wheels and tires and, kind of end the video there. We're always trying to go test them at a racetrack. So we have to build them so they can, at least do 3 or 4 laps. And that pace slows us down, because you really need to make sure that the parts and the build quality is there, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, reliability and durability are not sexy.
No,
those are not those things. They don't add to your view counts. They don't add to your cover photos. Building a car that can make 1,000 horsepower, or what, I just picked a number, but 1,000 horsepower and last a quarter of a lap around a racetrack, versus building a car that makes half the horsepower, but that you can beat on all day for purposes of video, has got to be an ongoing debate back and forth about, do we build the most extreme car we can, or do we build something that works? And we're talking about an on-demand broadcasting system, right? You got to get people to click. So what do those discussions 100%. Look like? Does anyone ever argue in favor of just building a monster that'll probably break?
No, people want us to build those monsters.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, that's probably the reason our channel has grown so slowly. It's because we keep building like realistic cars that actually can be street driven and go to the racetrack reliably.
That's true. I look at your channel and I'll look at Freddie's channel, and Freddie is repimping shit boxes over there. Literally repimping the same shit box that was already pimped for fun and profit.
Yeah. Funny you say that, because our most popular videos as of late, we have been pimping like a Honda Civic, a Honda CR-V. We did a Mazda 3, and they were just super easy, quick builds where it's like 2 videos and people like it. Where,
you know why? Because pimping is a visual thing.
Yes.
When you change how the car looks, that's what the medium is. That's the only thing that the audience at home can really experience for themselves, how this thing has changed visually, or maybe how it sounds. But that's pretty much it, right?
If you say it turns in 10% better, it's hard to illustrate that. But
it's hard. Or if you say, well, now it doesn't overheat anymore.
But if you say now it has a fish tank in it, they're like, I can see that.
Yes,
I get it.
Right, it does. Right. It does have a fish tank in it. I see that you have put a fish tank there.
If you look at our view arc, it kind of starts off where we modify the visual of the exterior, and it goes up, and the view rate goes up, and they're like, oh, we're gonna do an engine swap. It goes like this.
Yeah. That's hilarious, really.
Engine swap. Yeah. And then we get to the end, and it's like, oh, you're gonna drive the car and test it, and then it goes up again. So
that's
like,
so
you just
funny.
Don't want to watch us in the weeds, like wrenching on these cars, right? We did a 2J swap M3, like an E46 M3, and I absolutely love the car. And I thought, oh, we're going to show people how to do this. And it just, the view rate in between when we were swapping that engine just, kind of went down. It's just like your typical hardcore guys are there, but the other guys just want to see it finished, want to see us put the wheels and tires on it, right?
You know what? I think you're absolutely accurate. My friend Larry Casilla of Ammo, he makes videos about car detailing.
Yeah, I watch his stuff all the time.
He does a lot of these, like, he'll do some barn find or detail some car that was in the fucking woods or whatever, and he has correctly ascertained, because his videos are technically instructional, right? But he has correctly ascertained that the audience doesn't actually want to learn anything. They want to see it dirty, and then they want to see it shiny, and they want to see a musical montage that a human has actually changed it from dirty to shiny, but they don't really give a shit how it got there. They just want it to be, done. And I think the build videos are the same thing. It's almost the same as like driving cross country. Cannonball, it's like the first 20 minutes, the last 20 minutes are very exciting. And in the middle, it's like 2,700 miles of cornfields. Just
and try to make a video on that. Like YouTube is a copycat game, right? Where we want to do stuff we think is exciting, but really what you want to do is create content that other people create that's trending, right? And we've kind of been fighting that for a very, very long time.
Yeah, we've been too stubborn to really follow those trends too much.
But you could still do the build that you want to do and just focus your video resources to more on certain parts than others. You could... And I don't know how this turned into the fucking video consulting hour, but I'm just saying, like, if people want to see the visuals and they want to see the finished product and they don't really care about you physically putting in whatever engine swap, they just want to see it in there done and running, you could really save yourself a lot of time and energy by kind of glossing over those parts in your production process and really just leaning on the things that people want to see and just blasting through the work without having to have videos slowing you down. Yeah.
That's exactly. We just 100%. Kind of rejigged and did that. We're going to try to publish those, mod my car, pimp my ride, whatever you want to call them, videos, once a month, and then the rest of it just do quick builds.
In pimping rides, did you actually find any joy or redeeming qualities to doing that kind of stuff?
I mean, it gets a bit repetitive for us because we've done that kind of thing so many times, both through the magazine and now the YouTube channel. But it's still fun to take an old turd and make it look cool and drive better and sound better. So, like, as car guys, it's still fun to do.
Yeah, it's like immediate gratification. Right? You put some wheels, tires on it, lower it, intake exhaust, and the car all of a sudden looks better. You look at it.
Still changes the character of the car.
You can put like BBS basket weaves and lowering springs on almost any rusty shitbox, and it will look like, that's like a thing that he's going for. Like that's just period unrestored. That's not a shitbox now because it's got basket weaves.
And listen, we put a 4-hour polish onto every car, and it looks so much better. And people are like, "Oh my God, you've polished that turd." So,
and that's what people want to watch. They want to see that quick gratification. So, sadly, we're being reduced to the quick gratification channel to some extent.
Look, dude, whether it's Pimp My Ride or Storage Wars or Pawn Stars or whatever, they want to find a reveal, a transformation, a second reveal, and then maybe a flip of what it's worth. Those are kind of the elements of what like sticks for TV. Unfortunately, nerds like us don't necessarily find that content to be rewarding to make because so much of it is just superficial, and it becomes way easier in television to just make it fake. Right. It's way easier to just like do fake builds and fake flips according to your production schedule. I'm looking at you, Richard Rawlings, and and that's that's TV.
Turned it into $5,000. Wow, what a flip.
We're kind of guilty of that too. We've started to try to tell a story with some of our builds, like, we found Pete's M3 in a swamp, which was not exactly true, but we try to like create a story and create a bit of like drama between us if we're doing a build off. So we try to do a little bit of that, but ultimately that's not really what we want to do. We're just trying to generate some interest in the process.
And to transition, so we're going to be, the next couple of cars that we're building are going to be a real test for the channel because we've got an R34 GTR Skyline and an MK4 Supra, both right-hand drive, both JDM legends, both vehicles that get a ton of views on the internet. So it's going to be interesting to see if those really ramp up the view rate, or it's just a matter of, our content is a little too hardcore or, you know, performance, or I don't know, not glamorous enough where we're going to get the views on it. So I'm curious to see how that, how that
well,
goes,
it's like, you know, it's like the Lord's work. You know, someone's got to test tires for the fucking rest of us. You know what I mean?
Right?
Someone needs to tell us, you know, what of these parts and what of these things are worth doing and not doing, and be a little more scientific about it for sure. You know, so
my back hurt from carrying that load for so long.
Right? Yeah.
right.
We love doing that kind of content. We just wish more people wanted to watch it. Yeah. Ultimately, that's
it's tough with focused content, man. It's really tough. Yeah. People fucking say shit to me anecdotally, like, "Oh, I want to see more of this. I want to see more of that. I fucking hate it when it's just supercars no one can afford." Meanwhile, you know, I try those things and they get X views, and then I go drive the supercar that people whine about and it gets 10 times as many views. Like, what am I going to do? You know, it is. But then I also look at people who do comedy or pranks or music on YouTube, and it gets 100 times what we're getting. And it's like, there's nothing you could do in cars that gets anywhere close to what your average comedian fucking can pull.
Yeah,
you know? Right? Zach's nodding over there.
Yeah. Well, that's a simpler thing to digest, you know, especially if you're doing a build journey. It's like, I'm going to give you 30 videos on how to build this car. And like a lot of people, what I think is cool about your channel, though, is it is a kind of a timeless resource. If someone wants to do a project like you have done, this is now like a DIY guide instead of, you know, getting a Chilton manual or something like that. So hopefully you guys play the long burn, and people are going to this for a long time.
For us, really.
Yeah, like we love what we do. So it's just a matter of, you know, of course everybody wants quicker success, wants to have more money in their pocket. But you know what? Like I'm passionate about it. I love what we're doing. So
yeah, and I think one of the saving graces of our channel for us from a business perspective is that because we have this catalog of projects that we've built, it's not vlog style content where the title makes no sense. It has no context. People can go and find those playlists, and if they're building an S2000, they can go look at our S2000 build and use that as a reference. So like our back catalog of videos still gets a lot of views for us.
Yeah, you got a long play going on.
Exactly. And that's not necessarily been a bad thing for us. And it's also helped us work with manufacturers and sponsors in a way that we might not be able to work with them if we were vlogging, you know?
Yeah, and our business model is a little bit different in that sense, where most YouTubers rely heavily on the revenue from YouTube. And for us, it's more of the sponsorships that we get through. Kind of, you know, we took
like a magazine model, basically. That's how old we are.
Model, right?
Well, yeah, but you know what? That's what you've done is you have algorithm proofed your business model. And if your business model exists outside of the uncertainty of an ever-changing algorithm, that's better for you guys in the long run. It's much more predictable business model, and you're in control of it. Yeah, it's a better way to be.
It is. The only downside to it, I guess, is there's a lot of hustle that goes on behind the scenes to maintain those relationships and to to wrangle parts and to make ad deals and so on happen. So unlike a vlogger who just has the money show up in his bank account every month from Google, we have to kind of work a little harder for it in the background. But it's still been well worth the effort.